Fourth one, make your nonverbal communication count. As you have sat here, let's just even say for the last 45 minutes or so, you've been telling me something. I've noticed each one. I could go around and say, but I won't. Nonverbal says something. And if you're smart enough, you know what it is. But I'm talking about your participants watching you. So what I want to do, and I don't, again, I'm just going to mention this. I don't want you to think I'm trying to, Stephen and that's one point we wanted to make. We're not trying to turn you into trainers, but I do want to go over some information. What do others see while you're speaking? You project what you believe and feel on the inside, so what is your outside telling people about your inside? Okay, was I nervous when I got up here at 11? Absolutely. I told a few of them back here for some reason this morning. I think it was knowing Bubba was going to be here. Okay, I was as nervous as could be. Now, I'm going to be honest, if you ever are not nervous, then something's wrong with you, because it means you don't really care about the program. There's always an amount of nervous. But no, y'all, I couldn't sit down. She was like, here's the chair. No, I'm just going to stand up. And I was like, working on it. But you didn't know it. See, because my nonverbal, it's the way that I stood more erect, not like. And I didn't pace back and forth. I would walk out. I'd get you involved with my eye contact. Then I'd step back because we were doing team teaching, and he'd walk forward when he talked. It was very deliberate. My body said one thing, but my insides were like, when can we get out of here? So, believability. We've taught this so much, you have bound to have heard it, but I want to use it for this point. The words that come out your mouth is only 7% of what the audience believes you're communicating. 38% is your voice, inflection, pitch, pause, volume, speed. Maybe I say it real fast to make a point, or maybe I slow down. Did you notice my hand did it with my voice? Okay? I don't have to practice it, but you can, because I'm older than dirt, training, but my hands do those things now. 38%. Did you hear me pause right then? I paused for a reason, so 38% could sink in your head. And then lastly, 55% of whether or not we're believed is our nonverbal body aspects. All this. I want the point we've made to a lot of your employees over time. If I talk to you on the phone, you only get 70%. If I send,
45%. On the phone, you'll get 45.
45%. Until we do something in person is the only time they have 100% ability to learn from you.
That's why emails and text messages are so absolutely awful at effectively communicating during a crisis, because it's only 7% of your believability is those words.
Right, 7.
We're teaching the volatile situation class, and the first thing we say off the bat is this has to be done in person. Because if it's not done in person, then they can't trust you. So as you get up and you speak, so much of your communication is this. It's your believability is this. Am I engaged? Am I talking to people? Do I believe it? And am I communicating that not through my words, but through all of the other things that I'm doing?
Through your body. So that's where we're going to go. Number 1 is your eye contact. Number 2 is kinesics, which is your gestures. So let's look at those. Very quickly, y'all can go back and look at this later. The eyes never lie. All these FBI shows are true. Your eyes never lie. They allow you to bond with your audience. If you look down, if you look at a piece of paper, you're not doing that. You have to make eye contact. They hold the people's attention. They demonstrate you're speaking honestly or not. If you're looking down, it's dishonest to people. How can you say that? I didn't say you're telling them fake news. I said it speaks to your credibility. That you're hiding or you're not honest. Eyes convey self-confidence, credibility. Your eyes acknowledge other people. When I'm nervous inside, you can bet my eye contact is going to be full on because I'm shaking inside. You see what I mean? But I looked you in the eye instead of acting nervous. I acted like I wasn't. So I came across y'all as I wasn't nervous. Sure I was. Look at your audience before you start. That means like you get up. It means this. I don't get up and go, well, thank you. I'm glad to be up here with y'all. What we're going to talk about today. No, you wait till you're in front and you look at all of them and go, great to be here with y'all today. See the difference between that? Scan from one side of the room to the other before you start speaking. You connect with one person at a time and you hold it for 2 or 3 seconds. Have y'all noticed, because Stephen and I are doing this, I actually look at you, 1, 2. Then I might go over here, 1, 2. Then I come back over here, 1, 2. Okay, I don't go like this. And so the next thing that we're going to, it's not like a, I stop. I'm not even going in, am I? I connect about 2 seconds. And I come over here and I connect 2 seconds. And I connect over here 2 seconds. One is you're going to keep them, by the way, that helps keep them awake and attentive because they know your eyes are coming back to them. Don't look above their heads. Don't look out at the ceiling or out the back window. And some of those rooms have some gorgeous things to look at out on the deck. But try and keep your attention on the audience.
One of the things that's critical, and when you do this right, you can sit in a room with 1,000 people, and they believe that I, as a speaker, was talking to you. And you walk out of the classroom going, out of this conference going, they were talking right at me. Well, yeah, they made eye contact. And if it's a large room, you don't even have to make eye contact with an individual, but you'll look at particular parts of the audience. In a classroom like this, yeah, you need to make eye contact with every single person around you. As you spend that hour, every single person needs to believe that you talked to them during that activity. And they walk out going, holy cow, they talked right at me. And I felt like I connected with them as a speaker.
Yeah, it is a connection. Arms gestures. You've had several speakers up here before we got up here. Gestures are the most expressive part of your body, right here. Arm gestures. Make your hand gestures above your elbow just to let you know. Everybody just do this where you're sitting. This is where all gestures should be. Elbow level and up. So everything is like, yeah, 2 things here, 5 things there. Here's what we're going to do. Now let me show you the opposite. One of the things we want to do with y'all today is we want to start, let's see how my gestures are down here. It doesn't show confidence and it doesn't relate well. They're up here. One of the things we want to do with you today is look at, see, they're all right here. They're not down here. And you're not speaking to the Birmingham Civic Center, so they don't need to be up here. They should be vigorous and definite, not like, thank you for letting me be here today. Thanks for letting me be here today. They should be full and varied and larger for larger audiences, the same as the eye contact. So, avoid pointing your finger at the audience. And you know, this one I want you to pay attention to. This is actually, when somebody points at you subconsciously, it's correction and it's negative. Okay? We learned that. Bill Clinton and Obama both started out like this. And finally Bill Clinton adjusted to this, the knuckle out. Obama took it back in a ½ inch and did like this. Now, if we can just keep teaching all the presidents different things. But the idea is, yeah, there you go. But, I didn't even know. I looked at you, I was like, you got that. All right, don't avoid making a fist. We've got to do this. We got to do this. Using a karate chop. I found a VHS tape of me speaking in 1993. A turquoise suit with shoulder puffs out to here. A gorgeous suit, but just, oh yeah, I look like a tackle. But anyway, I don't know what I was teaching, but because I couldn't get the volume, but it was like this. I just kept going. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I used to karate chop everything. Do not touch your face. I won't go into the psychology, but it means you're lying or you're making something up. Putting your hands in your pocket. Men, keep your hands out of your pockets. Do not, men, let me now even further frustrate you. This is not appropriate. It's called a fig leaf position. Women, it's not for you either. You're telling your audience, I really don't know what I'm fixing to do.
Okay. The other side of that is, for those of your military background, and this is your expectation, that also isn't what you want. So if your go-to is my hands are behind me, chest out, all that, that isn't communicating what you want to communicate as well.
But I do want, it is okay to kind of erect yourself a little bit. Posing, this psychologically is still pointing to people. Or when you do something like it's called a prayer position, it shows arrogance to your audience. Crossing your arms at the chest, and then standing in one position and hardly moving.
So those of us who are uncomfortable with speaking will often get behind the podium and we'll speak like this. We'll hold on to it. You got the death in the grip. Your knuckles are white because you're nervous, and you never look up from what you're reading. And you're not communicating any of this critical information when you do that. That is a place of, we've got this podium in front of us. It's a safety thing. I'm behind it, and I don't have to look at people, and I can read it. I make sure I don't flub my lines. But everything you're communicating is unbelievable. There's not communicating that 93%, or at least the 55% of body language. You're saying, I am nervous, and I don't want to be here.
So what do you do? Because I actually tried to persuade the committee to never put a podium out there. But I think they're going to, because it makes people feel good. If this is the podium, you put whatever your notes are here, and you stand out to the side. Because you can't get the death grip. If you stand, now one, you can kind of death grip one arm if you need that safety, but that'll help. Let's move on through. The other part of kinesics is your movements. Pretty much with two, you've seen us walk out and around. If you can move all around that, if I had y'all for even longer, I would, like during my 6.5 hour time with your people, I'm all back of them, talking to them. They actually are exercising if they're watching me move. And then I'll come over here and say, I'll talk to you a little bit. Then I'll come over here and say something to the back of your head. And then, see.
Where the brain is.
Okay. So, move out. If you can't do any, remember what's called the W. Now, it's a W to me, upside down. I walk out a little bit. Then I'll come back. Now, this isn't this fast, but a little bit. And then I may say something here, and then I'll walk over here a little bit. And then I may come back over here. Do you see the W? At least there's some movement. If you don't, feel free to move around. Facial expressions. Try and smile. There's that thing that I'm sure we've watched on, I don't know, the Today Show or something, that says some people, and excuse my language for it, they have a resting bitch face. It's because they're naturally rest, their frown goes down. Okay, look in your mirror and see if you're possessed with that. Because the idea is to, now I don't smile all the time, but I at least try to hold this. A straight line. I mean, you're going to look like a joke going, hey, how y'all doing? I mean, but you want to, as much as you can. Vocalics, we've covered. Proxemics is the use of space. Do y'all notice when I came around them, every one of them straightened up as I walked by? See, if y'all are over here, if you're on your cell phone, or y'all are talking, I mean, we actually do this during audiences. I come right here, and I will teach for 5 minutes until that phone is put up, or they quit talking. I don't say anything to them. Proxemics, space communicates something. You got haptics. I patted you on the back, I patted you on the back. That's the use of touch to communicate meaning. I said something to him, so I patted him on the back as I walked by. That, of course, communicates. Another one is chronemics, the use of time in covering your presentation. Artifactual, I don't have my glasses out, but can I use that for a second? I won't put them on, but if I had my reading glasses, sometimes I take them off and I go, that's exactly right. Or maybe you have a marker. That's called artifactual. Some of you will be using the slide answer, hanging on to it. And then appearance. You want to address that one as I move us through? Some pictures that I forgot?
So, you are the face of this class. You're the face of LDOT when you're up there. If I showed up wearing blue jeans and a ratty t-shirt, how much respect would you have for me as a presenter, as an employee of Troy? If I'm presenting, and every time I teach a class, regardless of whether I'm in Tuscaloosa or Tuscumbia or Mobile, I'm going to walk in a sports coat and a tie. I won't wear that the whole time, but that is the face that Troy expects me to put forward. About halfway through that class, I'm going to pull the tie off, I'm going to take my jacket off, I'm going to roll my sleeves up, and I'm going to engage so that the audience relates to me as not necessarily someone in a suit and tie. But I present myself professionally. And that really is critical because that first impression of, well, what am I looking at? Who do I represent? It's an easy thing to do, but we need to be conscious of it.
And again, we're not saying you necessarily wear a suit, but the trick is to dress 2 steps above your audience. If they're going to have on golf shirts and jeans, then maybe you wear khakis and a button shirt.
So bald-headed people wear toupees.
Yes, they have to get some type of, yes. A comb over. All right.
Couldn't help.
Verbal reinforcement, a couple of things. Begin and end with telling your main points because that's a way to verbally. The best presentation is delivered as a conversation, not as a teacher. Reiterate your key points with images or stories. You repeat something 3 times, that helps them remember it. Use transitions when you're moving from one topic area to another. And if you get to the time and you're looking, and you look at it and you go, I am so late, you got to leave out something. It's going to be hard to leave out the slides because you're going to be running through them. So maybe leave out a story or be ready to leave out something. Never end with a question and answer slide. And that is your nonverbal.